everyone, I'm Nikki and welcome to another craft video for the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center. Today we're going to be making our ocean in a bottle craft, which is very similar to a sensory bottle, which I'm sure you've seen on the internet before. And this one goes along with our weekly theme. So we're gonna do an ocean one. So what you're gonna need today for sure is you're going to need a clear water bottle. Now I'm using a glass one because some of the little creatures that I'm going to put in are a little bit bigger, but you can totally use a plastic water bottle. Just make sure you peel off the label that's usually in the middle of the bottle. That way you can see into your ocean in a bottle craft. You're also going to need some water. Optional, but you can pick between the two, or you can put both in. Our little seashells, a wide variety of colors and shapes is great. It's really cool to look at when it moves around. If you have little plastic sea creatures, you can get those at the dollar store or places like Walmart or any craft store. If you have those can go in as well, and a wide variety again of colors and shapes and sizes works really well. You're also going to need some sand, about 1.5 inches or so to fill up the bottom of your water bottle. You're also optional, if you have it, you can put a little bit of blue food coloring in. You'll only need a couple drops, so don't worry if you're running low on that. And you don't need it as well, the water will just be clear instead. And optional again, if you want, you can even add in some glitter if you have it. Now glitter can be kind of messy, so it's okay if you don't want to put it in there. So to get started, take your clear water bottle and you're going to take the lid off. Once you've done that, make sure the inside of your bottle is dry. It just helps when the sand goes into it so it doesn't stick to the side of your container right away. So then we're going to get your sand. And what I've done today is I've made myself a little funnel. You can just roll white printer paper if you don't have access to a plastic funnel or anything like that from your kitchen. It just helps pouring in the sand so you don't make as much of a mess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my funnel in here like so. I'm going to take my sand and I'm going to start pouring it in. So like I had mentioned earlier, you're going to need about 1.5 inches or so. And it also depends on kind of what the look you're hoping to get from this. So as you can see, I filled up a good chunk of mine and it's kind of smoking a little bit here from the sand going in so quickly. So set aside your funnel and make sure you put the lid back on your sand. That way we don't make as much of a mess. So once we have it here, you can kind of settle it in there, tap it on the table. It helps level it out. What we're going to do next is we're going to fill it with some water. So some clear water here, and we can add food coloring later. If you know for sure you're going to add food coloring, you can even put it in before you fill it, before you fill your water bottle. That's totally up to you, but I'm going to do it without first just to show you what it kind of looks like, so you can make your own choice later on when you go and try this craft at home. So we're going to take our water and we're going to slowly pour it in there. Now you'll see that the water is a little bit cloudy, and that's because the sand is at the bottom, so it's mixing it up. So you'll find that you might have to let it sit for a little bit before you put in your little creatures or your food coloring or sparkles. Play it by ear, whatever works for you, and it depends on what kind of sand you're using as well. This one is really, really fine. If you use a more traditional sand like you would find out in your driveway or at the beach, it won't mix up the sediment as much. So I'm going to need a little bit more water, so I have my second cup here. So we're going to pour that in. I'm going to leave a little bit of room at the top. That way we can fit in some more little creatures. So now that I have done that, what we're going to do next is we are going to add some of our little accessories. So I have my little seashells, so I'm going to drop those in there. That little seashell likes to float. I'm only going to add 2 because I know I want to add some little water creatures to make it look more like it's out in the ocean. So I have a little crab here. I'm going to put him in there. And I think I'm also going to add this little octopus. That way we have some orange in there too. So they're down at the bottom now. We have one little seashell up at the top, which is totally fine because we're going to be moving the water bottle around anyways. So it's okay if some of your seashells float. I've chosen today that I'm going to add in a little bit of blue food coloring. And like I mentioned earlier, you only need a couple drops, so don't worry if you're running low on food coloring. You don't have to go and buy a whole large bottle like we have here. So we only have a little bit left as well of this one. So we're gonna add in a tiny bit to that. There we go. And as you can see, it's starting to swirl around in there. We're gonna take our lid and we're gonna make sure that it's closed nice and tight, like so. And if you want to just double check beforehand, you can try and flip it over in a sink or the bathtub or even outside if it's a nice day. That way you don't spill. But it's okay, we have a craft table here, so we're not too worried about that. And you can mix it up. Now I put a lot of food coloring, that way it shows up on the video. But if you add just a drop or so and you have one of the squeezing ones, it'll work much better. But you can see the little sand in the bottom there, and you can mix it up. And the more you mix it up, the more the sand will start to actually move, which is super cool. So then it looks like a little tornado in there, which is super neat. So that is our ocean in a bottle, and thank you for watching. Make sure you check out the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center YouTube page, as well as our Facebook and Twitter for more cool summer fun activities.